up, beautiful souls? Your boy Loon is back with another subreddit video, and today we are back on one of the fan favorites, r/NotHowGirlsWork. It's been a while since I've been on the subreddit. I'm super excited. For those of you guys that don't know, this one is home of some of the most chaotic and ignorant posts towards how women should work, but they just don't work this way. And yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, I've also been live streaming 1 to 3 times every week. If you guys are interested in checking out those live streams, they're on YouTube Live, this channel, Twitch, and Kick. And if you guys want to see the times, just join the Discord. It's gonna be the link in the description box down below. Also, if you're new to this channel, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you enjoyed this video. We're almost at 12,000 subscribers. It's insane how fast we're growing. Help me towards my goal of 20K. That would mean the world to me. And thank you everyone who has been supporting so far. All right, anyways, let's get into r/NotHowGirlsWork today and see what goofiness we can find. All right, this one's title is Being a Mom is a Pick Me. Okay, so we got a Facebook post here, or actually Twitter post or X. Hot take, they are both pick me's. Okay, Gender Studies for Men post, you're a pick me, and then it has OF and hearts and stuff. So I'm guessing like an OF model says you're a pick me towards a mom who has a kid. And hot take, they're both pick me's. What? This doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess this person would be more of a pick me than a mother. How does that even make any sense? That's silly. Yeah, just being a mom makes you a pick me is crazy. All right, this one says, I guess women don't have collarbones. Someone posted a reply on this picture that kind of looks like Sydney Sweeney, but I know it's not. Or could it be? Maybe it is her. I don't know. Circling the girl's collarbone, and it says, it's a man, people. Look at that huge clavicle. They are all inverted. What? Yo, this is gonna blow this dude's mind. But women are actually also humans, meaning that they also have collarbones. And believe it or not, people are born with different size collarbones. I actually have a really strange collarbone. They're uneven. One side's way thicker than the other, and it makes it really hard for, I really wanted collarbone tattoos, but it's really hard to do that because it'll look like really wonky. Random fact, but also like women have collarbones. All right, this one I'm gonna have to blur, but you guys listen along, okay? So the title of this one says, man is very confident that most women like male juice. We'll just say male juice, okay? Male liquids. We're on Reddit, and the original post title is a short cheat sheet to help with problems during, and then it's ... Someone replies, and which is OP, and OP says, now that's interesting. I found that most, or OOP, sorry. OOP says, now that's interesting. I found that most women love it. Now, many agree with you that they don't want it all over their bodies, sheets, and clothes, but as long as there is no risk of pregnancy, women absolutely love it, referring to male fluids. And that's not me guessing. That's what I've been told. By who? Are you like watching stuff online, like corn on the cob the whole time? The few who don't like it don't like bodily fluids in general, so they are squeamish about blood, sweat, etc. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Well, I don't know how to explain it to this guy, but in my experience, most women don't love it. They can bear it, and I mean, like I've had many times where they're like, oh, it wasn't that bad, but they're not gonna be out here like, oh my God, I love it. Like, that's just crazy. I don't know. That's just my experience. I could be wrong. And then a woman replied to his post saying, no, most women do not like male fluids. And then OP says, no, women don't love male fluids. Neither do men. Women love the feeling of the man putting the fluids inside her. That is my point. No one likes the cleanup. I don't even like to pee afterwards. What? You should. That's how you get a UTI if you don't. As I can sometimes generate 3 simultaneous. What is this guy? Is this guy like a big old dummy? What is going on? Guaranteed his research source is corn on the cob. Yep. Sounds about right. All right, this one says, all I did was ask for a link to his claims that prisons are full of men raised by single mothers. Okay. So we got a guy here who posted and said, you can't prove me wrong because I'm right. That is an instant start of any argument showing that the person is probably wrong. If you have you just believe that you're fully in the right, like that's not a good start. All right, you can't prove me wrong because I'm right. Yeah, because asking for a source is effing stupid when we both have phones in our hands. You know you looked it up and you are just playing dumb, real mature. This right here is exactly why dads are the better parent. Lazy and no accountability. What do you mean dads are the better parents? I feel like both are equally important into a child's life, right? For different reasons. And then someone said, once again, or replied to that, a girl said, once again, I am not trying to prove you wrong. All I was asking politely was for a resource or for a source. So the guy, and after he threw a whole hours long tantrum, he posted links from America First. I don't know what that is, but so his claim was that prisons are full of men raised by a single mother. Let's search that up. Are prisons? Well, even Google AI, which is like very usually wrong, will say correlation does not mean causation. That's a huge key here. Allegedly, most convict criminals came from single parents. The percentile was very high, like 80% of all children. Is that true? Yeah, you have to look at the study more closely. It really matters what demographic and area. Yeah, there's so many factors. And that's again, correlation does not mean causation. And there's just so many factors at play. Where are you at? What demographic? Yeah. So where did his study come from? Came from BuzzFeed. Guys, look at this one. It says, show her it's a man's world. And this is an old, I guess, magazine article or something by Van Heusen's, which is a like clothing brand, I believe. Man's world ties. And then it says, show her it's a man's world. That is crazy. And then you'll see stuff like this. And then guys, especially like when we do incel IS videos, we'll say, oh, women have it so much easier. And then cis white men get nostalgic about how great the 50s were. For who? Yeah, for real, dude. So it's such a silly thing to say. Whoa, this one's crazy. The title of this one says, classic emotional labor is only women's job. Indian Tech and Infrastructure or whatever, Twitter page, X page says IIT or Indian Tech and Infrastructure. Kharagpur plans to launch Campus Mothers, which is a program under which women will be trained to provide emotional support to distressed students. Isn't that like therapists or like counselors? And isn't that a job that a guy can also have? What? Why would you only make it women? Like, that's just so silly to me, because not only does that make it like bad for women, but it also makes it bad for men, because you're losing the opportunity for a job for guys to do. And also on top of that, like, guys can give a different perspective on stuff too. And I think it's important to have both perspectives of men and women to be able to have options for emotional support. I don't know. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know anything, but that just seems silly to me. All right, this one says nothing is more fulfilling than being a wife and mother. Oh, brother. Okay. So someone on Reddit says being a housewife, quote unquote, is not oppressive, but being forced to be one with no choice is. Yo, that's facts, because look, at the end of the day, there are some women out there, and I've met them, that genuinely their dream is to have, like, their goals in life is to have a kid, be a mother, be a loving wife, and quote unquote trad wife, right? Like, they want to be the housewife and stuff. Nothing wrong with that. That's not really my type. I wouldn't go for someone like that personally, just because I have high ambitions. I need somebody to match that. But hey, to each their own. But at the same time, I agree with this. Oppression doesn't mean that is bad. It just means when you have to do that. There's no other option. Women should not do anything else. Like, that's when it's like technically oppression, right? The same thing applies for men. Like, if men are forced to do something. I mean, that's with any group, any freaking group, guys. At least now women aren't dependent on a man to survive. We can make our own money. That's facts. Back in the day, it was not like that. People can't afford to stay at home. Yes, but that's capitalism exploiting women, not feminism. Know the difference. I think it's both. I think it's a mix of capitalism with like disguised feminism as well. It's a little bit of both, I think. But someone responded and says, I'm 23 and I've been married for 3 years. I have a girl. Damn, when he was 20? That's pretty crazy. I have a girl and a baby on the way. And you know what? This is so much more fulfilling than... wait. This might be a girl, actually. This is so much more fulfilling than slaving away for some corporate overlord, working myself to death for scraps. In your perspective, it is. And in your opinion. At least here, I'm loved and cared for by my husband. Okay, so this is a girl. He actually appreciates me and lets me know that I matter, which is good. I'm happy that this person has a great, loving husband. He's my best friend, and we are so happy. You're being exploited. Women were never liberated, and you're going to regret it in a few decades. Nothing is more fulfilling than being a wife and mother. But this person doesn't understand. It's not about like working, not working, staying at home, not staying at home. It's more about the option to. Allowing yourself to have the option to is the point. If you don't have an option, then it becomes technically you're oppressed, right? Because then you have to do something that maybe you don't want to do. That's pretty insane. This is also proof that sometimes women don't even know how girls work. You guys are your own worst enemies sometimes. Not all the times, of course, but all right, this one says seriously question mark. Why so the imperfect incel is the title of this guy, and I can't show the rest of the screen yet and because I don't have to blur it. But imperfect incel tweets out, why are women so afraid of using the word misogynist? Is it because they willingly date attractive men that openly hate them and want to use them as cuddle objects? No, what? So this refers to Dr. Charlotte Proudman's tweet. We need to stop thinking of incels as awkward hideaways in a basement on the internet. They are literally YouTubers, policemen, politicians, fathers, and brothers. Being an incel has nothing to do with the way that you look or present. It's a way that you value and treat women. Yes and no. I don't agree that. Well, there's two different types of incels. I think there's like the actual terminology, which is involuntary celibate. So then, yeah, you could be any of these guys. But also at the same time, there is the guys who are stereotypical incel.is guys. And those are like the worst of the worst. And that's kind of where the second part of what she says can come into play. This one says taking out trash like a pro. Someone posts, apart from melons and booty, what else do you think every girl or every lady should have? And then someone responds, access to safe abortions, so we don't have to see trash like this. Well said. What a comeback. Just came up on my feed, and I'm repulsed. Toxic Hood Boys posted a meme saying, this is why most of y'all get cheated on. And in the meme, we have a girl who's pushing away her husband, says, I don't feel like it tonight. And then the husband says, it's been 2 weeks. And then in the caption, he says, this is exactly why most of y'all get cheated on. You lay next to the woman who treats your needs like an inconvenience. She withholds intimacy like it's some kind of reward you got to earn. 2 weeks go by and you still play the understanding boyfriend while she plays the victim. That ain't love, that's manipulation. And you're just too afraid to admit that she doesn't even like you like that anymore. A real man wouldn't beg for attention. He'd disappear and let her sit with silence you created. This is an interesting one because the way that he conveyed this was, there's still more to it. She withholds intimacy like it's some kind of reward you got to earn. Like, what the actual F do people really think like this? I don't understand people who think that their partners are responsible to give them satisfaction every time, even if a partner wouldn't want to be intimate. I don't think I or my boyfriend would get anything from cuddles if we both wouldn't be in the mood. This next, this one's comment says it perfectly. It's the responsibility of partners to respect each other's consent. If the partner doesn't want to cuddle for an extended period of time, there's always a way to talk about it without being selfish. Yeah, I agree. Now, this is a nuanced, it's a little bit more layered than just black and white, in my opinion. Like the whole discussion between like cuddling with your partner and stuff, because it can go both ways. It doesn't just have to be a woman. It can also be the guy who holds out as well for various reasons, tired and stuff like that. And when you are in a relationship, you do have to understand that there is physical needs for both people, right? To an extent. And it's much more nuanced than this. So I don't think what they said is at all like cut and dry, black and white. It's just so goofy. What the hell does this even mean? Girlfriend versus wife. When she's your girlfriend and it's a picture of Sydney Sweeney smiling, and then when she's your wife and then it's Sydney Sweeney mad. If your wife is mad at you, but she was happy when she was your girlfriend, that just means that like things did not go well. Someone says, if you got/are getting married and this is a concern of yours, then maybe you just don't get the point of marriage. Most people don't go into lasting marriages because their partner is pretty on the outside. It's hopefully because they've since learned how pretty they are on the inside. Yo, that's facts. It's pretty insane to think about. And like, don't get me wrong, guys will inherently think of looks first, right? But when you get into marriage, your lifelong partner, especially if you're in a monogamous relationship and you're into monogamy, what do you want them to be like beautiful, but like also beautiful inside and like be a great person to grow with? I don't know. I'm single, so I maybe I don't know anything, but this was let me just drop my, underwears, female underwears. I have no job, quote unquote, I have no job, no car, 2 baby mamas, and a couple felonies and a beard. And then it's a girl who's drawing of her, taking off her underwear. In response to this, brother, if a woman is choosing to be with a guy who has no job, no car, 2 baby mamas, and a couple felonies and a beard, well, the beard part aside, if a woman is choosing that that is not the girl you should be even going for, brother. What? Like, why do you care if that's not someone you should want? This one says found on Threads. Rachel, the person, says, now that I'm 28, I'm honestly disgusted by the amount of 30-plus-year-old men who were trying to groom me in my teen years. Throwing up emoji. Yeah, it's kind of crazy because you don't really notice this stuff. And this is why it's so bad, guys. Because men and women, human beings, when they're in their, for the sake of YouTube, we'll say 18, 19, 20. Obviously, other ages do. But 18, 19, 20, those years, even though they are of technically an adult, we don't think about things the same way as we did now. Dude, when I was 18, I literally was thinking about partying in college and like how I could cheat on the next exam and stuff. And compared to what I'm thinking about now, like it's insane to think about what, like the nuances of life, the experiences of life. And so to think that someone 30 plus is like purposely dating you because of your, like, that's creepy, bro. It's one thing if like they're dating and, well, it's still creepy, but they didn't know your age. But then to know your age and actively pursue, that's so gross to me. And then someone commented and said, get over it. Adults are adults. You're just mad that men don't want you anymore. Brother, there is a difference between an adult that's like 18 and an adult that is like 28, bro. Like, I'm telling you, as somebody who's about to be 28, I was so different a decade ago. I hope you haven't had any daughters at all. Oh, yeah, I agree. Not yet, but the ones I have will be extremely capable, intelligent, strong, and completely capable of self-governance by the time that they are 18. I'm curious about this person's, like, how they were at 18. Sora, what, buddy? Sorry, my cat's, like, meowing in the background. It's really not that hard. You just have to try a little bit. I would have some, but, that whole loyalty thing can be tough for some women. I love how he just blames it all on women and nothing about himself. That's so silly. All right, so this next one says, and the incel strikes again. It's starting to make sense. So we got a meme here that says it's starting to make sense. Over 6 feet tall, unemployed, muscular, doesn't rate his own kids, has multiple baby mamas, extremely violent. Referring to the whole thing, like why women would choose the bear over the man. And still being pissed off that women would rather meet a bear than a random man in the forest. Yeah, I don't think these guys can fathom how scary men can be. And I have experienced scary men myself. I've been like, to a small degree, it was a gay dude, but he did something that made me very uncomfortable once. And I was at a bar. And so like, I get it. Guys are creepy, bro. Not all guys and not a majority of guys, but the fact that there could even be one guy that is creepy out there. Just saying. I don't know. I mean, bears are also terrifying though. So that's a tough debate. We got the classic one right here. Apparently, if we are over 24 years old, we are expired. Classic. Here we go. So we got a comment on an Instagram reel here. And a dude says, legally, where I'm from, and the whole European Union considered the age of consent at 16. Same with the United Kingdom. Okay, the fact that you're starting with that is not a strong argument. So stop talking about something you have no clue about, and anything above 16 isn't considered a minor. Even though I date 18 and above until the last day of your wait, what? Even though I date 18 and above until the last day of your 23, then you're expired. Oh, wait a second, guys. Did we just find Leonardo DiCaprio's burner account? And I didn't call a minor expired. I called a disposable 24-year-old and above expired. Considering every year millions of new 18-year-olds come to the market. Ew! Why would you say it like that? And older ones get out at the same time. Brother, what the hell is wrong with this dude? 24 being expired is insane. Like, God, I don't even, like, I'm gonna be real. I don't think I can't even consider a real relationship. Not just like a short fling or something, but a real relationship with someone that is at least at the bare minimum 23 years old. They got to be out of college, dude. Like you're what the hell is wrong with this dude? Someone comments and says, "You're mad because you expired. You called me a minor. You called a minor expired. That's predatory. Just say that you like little girl." And yes, anyone above 17. And yeah, someone actually called him out on it. Thank God. Oh, ew. Always the Instagram gym bros. Dude, that's so fucking creepy, dude. I don't care what the argument is for legality, any of that. You're still a creep in my books. And dude, if you're dating purely solely on an age thing and nothing on the merit of a woman or man, just based on something, then you're just as shallow as the women out there that date purely based on a number of their height. If not, actually, it's even worse because it's someone's age. Like, that's disgusting. So bro has to prey on teenage girls because he's a predator and lacks the character, personality, and maturity to be with a woman. Got it. Yeah, for real, dude. That says a lot about you if you're not even able to date someone your age. You know? Look in the mirror, brother. All right, last one would do for the day. It says, always repeating the same thing, that all women want the same guys. Okay, so we got, the original post is 45% of men, and Chris Williams, and it's an original reposting of Chris Williamson, which I will admit, I do watch some of Chris Williamson's podcasts. He's very well spoken. Men were asked, when was the last time you asked a woman in person for a date on the street, in a bar or club, at school or class, at work, at a hobby or social gathering or other location? Okay, when was the last time you asked a woman in person for a date? 45% of men aged 18 to 25 has never approached a woman in person. Oh, so Chris Williamson says that. Okay, that's something. Okay, I was not gonna lie, I was kind of worried to see, because we're on the subreddit. I hope that Chris didn't say anything, because I actually like Chris. So, okay, nothing crazy. Just a study that was conducted that he probably read, and so 45%. That is kind of sad to think about. 45% of men that are 18 to 25, so right outside, like right under my age range, has never approached a woman in person. That's kind of showing you where like the society is going in a way, right? Because like, I mean, it's, I guess like being on social media and all this stuff, it makes you so antisocial. And I think it's so important to just learn how to talk to people. I would say like for sure I've been on dating apps more than in person, but I would say like at least 30 to 40% of the women I've ever been on a date with have been from in person. Crazy to see this stat. And then someone responds to this. Allie says, I genuinely think a lot of men are just being rejected in their heads. So accurate. So accurate. These guys build this mentality, whether it's from, you know, the wet red pill algorithm or anything like that, where they just, before they even talk to a woman, they assume that they know what a woman is thinking. And I think that's so negative to the brains of, you don't really understand what someone is feeling until you talk to them, right? Like this is literally it. They assume a girl won't like them because of an insecurity they have. Yeah, that's an internal thing. And I think that's also why I try to promote on my channels, especially to the incels that watch my videos. Self-confidence and respect for others are like the bare minimums of how you should start to living a better life and hopefully dating in a better sense. I mean, I look at my own life and things got way easier the moment that I respected women. I've always kind of done that though. I was raised to do that. But the second thing was self-confidence. That changed everything. Respect for women, that should be like embedded in you. If it isn't, you can still change that. I hope that you can change that. Now, self-confidence, it is easier said than done, 100%. But if you can build that, whether it's from little things like working out, like things that looking better, improving your style, or even internal things like changing your philosophy, your mentality, that changes so much. All right, so anyways, sorry, I'm going on a tangent. After Allie posted this, someone responds to Allie's post saying, you will see a lot of posts on ex-women wondering why men don't approach, and you might get the courage to approach, but the reality is you are not that guy. If you were that guy, women wanted to approach, you won't need to approach. You will get approached. That's a good BP for today. No, what? See, that's the that you literally just proved the point that Allie had. You're having this mentality that, oh, I'm not that guy. You're rejecting yourself already. Like before even trying. Dude, if Kobe Bryant never tried basketball, you think he would ever be Kobe Bryant, like the Kobe we know? I mean, that's a bad analogy, but like anybody, you got to shoot your shot and you got to actually learn. Like you have to, or else how will you ever actually know? Someone says you won't need to approach. That's such cap. This is coming from like the whole red pill ideology. What? So that's an excuse to voluntarily allow your insecurity to hurt you deeper and believing that if girls aren't approaching you, then it means that's something bad. Exactly. Like what? In what mentality, in what world do you think people should just approach you at all times? Like, if you want something, at least try for it, man. And it ignores the rational logic that a lot of girls won't approach because one, they are also insecure. That is so true. And two, unlike guys, grew up in a world that they expect women to be passive and wait, and they can sometimes be judged if they don't. That is something that these guys don't think about. This is an actual thing. I know it's because my girlfriends talk about this. Not to mention three, that many women are less inclined to assume a guy will like them. That's fascinating to me. The third one I'm interested in like more, but so if you want to wait for her to come to you, for some women, she is probably going to assume that you aren't into her. Yeah, literally, dude, think about this. If you're not gonna approach a girl, how is the girl gonna know if you're into them or not? Who is teaching you how to date? I get that most people have insecurities, which is valid, and rejection is scary and it hurts, so it seems easier to just bail out. But good luck with that. Just don't go making it weird or uncomfortable when you do approach, and understand that plenty will not be a match, but there will be other chances out there. I was told most of my life that men would be insulted and emasculated if I approach once or twice when I did. I like when a girl approaches, but it does depend if I'm attracted to them or not, of course. Make the first move with a friend or classmate. I got rejected and disgusted that reinforced this, and honestly, they were 10 times crueler than rejection I would ever offer or had another woman offer me. In my 30s, I finally realized I'm not compatible with a man who's be disgusted by the idea of a woman approaching them, so screw it. If he doesn't like it or doesn't like me, no harm, no foul. Take the L, back off, be respectful and friendly. And this should be the mindset of everybody. Like girl, guy, doesn't matter. If you're going to shoot your shot and you get rejected, it is what it is. Who cares? Just take the L. And now the idea that an adult man can figure this out makes me laugh. Rejection does suck. None of us enjoy it. It's also a foreseeable and reasonable part of making it any connection with people. Yeah, if you never risk anything in life, you'll never get anything in life. Like that's just what are you just gonna sit there and expect stuff to just be handed to you? Some of these guys are crazy. Anyways, we're gonna end it on that note. That was such a goofy read. I love this subreddit just because it just baffles me sometimes. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Again, if you guys are enjoying this video and you guys have not hit the subscribe button, it would mean the world for me to, if you guys did, because we are almost at 12,000 subscribers. So it would be awesome. Anyways, if you guys are interested in the live streams, we will be live streaming again next week, I believe Wednesday. Or sometime around that time span. And you guys can follow along with the Discord link in the description box. Anyways, I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night or day or whatever. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.